Good morning from New York City. We are live from Book Studio 16 with the HarperCollins Library Marketing Team and, I believe, a special guest just waiting to come out.
It me!
Bethany?
What?
You've been there the whole time?
Unbelievable! Where'd she come from? Well, this is the Tiki Hut. I just got off my flight. I don't have good jokes. I really should have prepared something funny.
No jokes? You're
No
funny
jokes.
naturally. You don't need jokes. Just
Thanks.
be you. Beautiful you.
Coconuts, right?
Coconuts.
What was that?
You're a weirdo.
Tiki Hut. Oh no.
I
We'll come up
was
with
thinking
some
about one
jokes.
time when I said there was a kid that I used to work with and he was gone for a long time and he's like 3. And I saw him and I was like, Aaron! Because I was so happy to see him. And you know how usually like the you follow that with like Bethany or like hi or something like that. He goes, me! And that's how I've lived my life ever since.
Self-celebration.
Self-celebration. Yeah.
Self-celebration.
Speaking of which, I guess we should say who we are, right? We know Bethany now.
Bethany!
Yes.
Happy to be here.
I am Chris Connolly. I'm with the library marketing team.
I'm Lainey Mays and ditto.
And yay for us. Self-celebration.
See, self-celebration.
And yay for all of you at home. Self-celebration there as well.
Or work.
And
I
we
hope
already-
that people are watching from work.
And we already have
True.
people tuning in and saying good morning. We have Casey saying hi from Connecticut. Carla says good morning. Noreen says good morning. Julie also says good morning. And Elizabeth is writing in from Pittsburgh. She just wanted to say hello before she had to leave for an appointment. But she
sweet.
says she might come back for the end.
You could
Right.
just
It'll
play
be
us
worth
for the
it.
They
appointment.
may be coming live from a library.
Possible.
Oh, worth mentioning.
So
right
the
off the bat.
daily hours at the summer, or at the Robbers Library maybe. So
Summer hours at the Robbers Library.
Yes.
Summer's almost here. It feels like the sun is shining.
We're coming up
Doesn't
on
feel
summer
like it.
hours.
We are coming up on summer hours. Appropriate enough.
we have this really cool review we wanted to show for summer hours. Isn't it so exciting? The New York Times reviewed it
And positively.
positively.
Yeah, every
Yes.
review's been stellar, but I think this is one of the better reviews we've seen.
Yeah.
Sue's a huge advocate for libraries. She's incredible.
She started a library in upstate New York.
Yes.
She is really passionate about that. You should check out our blog. We talked about that and about the great review. There's a link to that there.
Yeah.
We're really proud.
It's not lacking great reviews. It also had a starred book list review from Donna Seaman. Honestly, I know I said this was one of the better reviews. That review is one of the best reviews I've seen in book list, period. Just a rave review about the importance of libraries. I know we're biased, but I think just straight up,
It's a really good bias to have.
yeah, it really is, and more
What
important
is this
than
in
ever.
front of my face?
Yeah, well, because the hiding thing, it keeps on coming back to us. So
It's
this is
3D.
on sale now. There is a library hardcover edition for librarians watching, or you can get
It's
the
also
trade
an
paperback, ebook.
Oops.
Do we have audio for
think so.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can look. Let
Yeah.
me, hold on, give me a sec.
Pull it. All right.
Yeah.
Well, do we
Well,
want
we'll
to?
circle back to that.
Let
Yeah,
me check
we'll
my
circle back.
library app.
Oh, there's a video of your baby on your phone too.
Oh, my little niece.
Behind the scenes. Yeah.
She sings "Let It Go" now, and it's wonderful. And that's not
We won't
just
let
because
it
I love
go.
her.
We will keep talking about it.
Do we want to talk about more books? That's what we're going to do today. We're going to give you some tips on books that are on sale, some that are coming up, things that we're gaga over, things that you really need to read if you want to be with the cool kids.
I was just
Wait, we
gonna
just
look
reached
up
it.
summer hours for the Robbers Library, but I opened up my app and I remembered that I'm listening to that. So we're gonna take a hot second to
Verena.
talk about this.
Talk
yeah,
away.
because it's right here in front of you. The CD is in front of you, but I'm listening to the digital audio, and it is entirely self-serving, and that's just fine because it helped my sales. But Verena, okay, so Molly Parker reads this. Well, first of all, let's talk about the book itself. So it's written by Charles Fraser, who wrote Cold Mountain, which was turned into the movie, and that's the only experience I had with Charles Fraser was the movie Cold Mountain. I hadn't read his stuff.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm listening to the audiobook now, and it is narrated by Molly Parker, who I know from House of Cards, season 1-ish, 2-ish.
Those are the only two I watched.
She was
What
the representative that had the relationship with the Fixer on House of Cards.
Oh.
Anyway, I'm a big fan of her, and she's so good. And the best part is that, so like Verena is about Jefferson Davis's second wife, Verena. They call her V, which is so funny because then I
Weird.
think of Virginia Stanley.
Which we should mention. So our fearless leader, Virginia Stanley, could not join us today, but we'll see. We might have a guest caller.
We're
So
taking
stick
phone calls
around.
now.
We do miss you, V. So everyone, send your wishes to V. She's fine, but she's had to get her hand fixed up. So
And then you
she's
get
away.
me instead.
Yeah.
Uh,
One shining personality for another.
So anyway, that was really nice. I was just going back into the book, but thanks for that compliment. So let's see, what was I going to say? What she's great about is that sometimes there's conversations between like 3 or 4 women in the book, and that's a really hard thing to narrate, and she does a really good job of making sure that you know exactly who the women are. And
she modulates her voice.
She modulates her voice just enough that, and just as, and like, maybe like quickens the pace a little bit, just adds a little bit of like flavor to the narration. Anyway, it is phenomenal. So listen to it, and that's all I had to say about Verena. Now I'm going to look and see if there's a digital audio for Summer
I have to say
Hours.
the art of audiobook narration, though. I want to listen to a book about the art of audio narration. I don't know if that's a little meta, but it's a crazy thing.
That's super meta, but we can make that
can
happen.
we
could
mention, since I'm listening on audiobook right now to this book?
Yes,
And we have to talk about this.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't want to obstruct your face
First
again.
of all, everybody holler if you have started this book or you've heard about the Haps. Oh my gosh. Okay, first of all, so you're reading it.
I'm
Have you
listening
read it
to
yet?
it.
No shame if you haven't, but
I
have you
haven't
read
yet,
it yet?
no. I'm scared. I'm a wimp.
I
I'm totally
am a little scared,
terrified.
but I only could listen to it if he was caught, and he was caught.
So, the whole
Supposedly.
thing about this book by Michelle McNamara. So, a little background. So, she's Patton Oswalt's wife, first of all, mother of his daughter. She when she was living, she was a crime blogger.
TrueCrimeDiary.com.
TrueCrimeDiary.com. But she was obsessed with this case about the Golden State Killer, and she coined that.
Yeah,
that
she
name.
put a lot
that
of information
nomenclature.
together.
So anyway, so she was writing this book about the Golden State Killer who was on a rampage for like 20 years. He killed 12 people. He raped like 40 women in this little part of California and was never caught. What the F? And so she was obsessed about this. And so she was researching it. She was working with the investigators. She was on like Reddit, and she was on all these online forums and people trying to figure out who this guy was. This story is bananas. So anyway, so she's like halfway through the book, right? She dies, kind of tragically, just passes away in her sleep, which is really sad. It's not related to the killer at all. He didn't like seek her out and end her. But so anyway, so then the researcher came together with Patton and our editor, and they finished the book. And Gillian Flynn did like a foreword or an afterword or something for it. So anyway,
Beautiful.
when I read this book, they hadn't caught the guy. But you're reading it and you're like, oh, obviously they caught this guy. That's just absolutely how this kind of book ends. But when I was reading it, it did not end like that. And now for all of these new people, they caught the killer.
Someone was saying
allegedly.
They were like, maybe he's dead or in prison for something else, but they were saying, what if he bought this book?
Uh-huh.
Oh, he probably did.
Can you?
Oh my
what if
God.
we go into his house and he has
And
this
it's
book?
sitting right there on the bookshelf, or it's on his TBR
Ugh.
pile.
It's very creepy, but her writing is so good, and she gives a voice to the victims,
She
and she
does.
really pulls a lot of information together.
And what he did was really terrible, but she doesn't, what's the word I'm looking for?
Victimize?
Add glitter to it.
Like,
Somebody in
yeah,
Facebook
add
help me
glitter
out.
to it.
But
Glitterize.
holy cow, I'm in the business of words and I came up with words.
We get it. Glitterize is
glamour?
great. Glamorize.
Glamorize.
Yeah.
That
She
sounds
doesn't make
good.
it glamorous. Anyway, but she's a beautiful writer.
Yeah.
The book itself is wonderful. They did a really good job of stitching in where she where she left off, and where the researchers had to pick up with the writing, and they just did such a good job.
Also, your nails match the best.
I have I'll Be Gone in the Dark nails.
Well, Casey said sensationalize.
Sensationalized!
That's the one. And there's a
Thanks,
lot of
Casey.
interest in this book from everyone watching. Carla said she heard about it but was afraid to read it.
I'm a little freaked out.
Read it with the lights on. Have a friend around. It's really good. I mean, it's great for book clubs because then you know that you have somebody else reading it that you can call up and be like, "Oh my God, did you get to page 67?" And you can freak out. To them.
Also, you can connect things you know about the person that they caught and be like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And she does call out a lot of stuff that she's like, I'm like, because of this, this, and this, I think this about the killer. And she was right about so much of it. It was just scary.
Like she said, he had military or law enforcement, and he was an ex-cop.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
Weird. I saw someone reading this in the park. It was a beautiful, sunny, 70-degree day at the park this last weekend. And at first I'm like, that seems really inappropriate. And now the more I think about it, that's really the only place
the way
I
to
could
do it.
probably
I read
read
it on
is
an-
in a park amongst people.
I read it on an airplane.
Ooh, I don't know. It's a little too close
People are
quarters.
around, though, so that's nice.
It was okay. One time I read a book about the spread of cholera on an airplane, which is not a thing to do. But this one was okay.
Okay.
But what I want to say about this book is that, you know what? The print version might be a little out of stock for a little while. It is an ebook and digital audio, and everybody should pick it up. And there's a special 6-part podcast that we put together with extra material, patents on it. There's
Even Michelle.
there's footage of Michelle that when she was talking to a radio show a few
editor.
years back. Her editor is on it, so check that out. You can get that anywhere podcasts are, I think. Boy, I just said that, and I hope it's true.
iTunes, Stitcher, you got it.
Okay. Anyway, so
That's. I'm still in shock about all of this. I need all of the information.
yeah, I
Okay,
need some therapy about it. Go.
can I talk about something warm that makes you feel
Yes.
fuzzy and safe?
Please do.
Even though it does take place
Need a
in the
hug.
cold
Are we all
expanses
okay?
of space. Record of a Spaceborne Few by Becky Chambers. So I don't have the gallery, so I blew up this jacket, which is beautiful.
I had to do that for a couple things too.
Yeah, but that's
Oh, you want me to
okay.
hold
Now
that?
you can see it nice and pretty. So this is the third book in the Wayfarer series. It's kind of a space opera series, but it has like really great science. Becky's parents are like all involved in astrophysics and things like that. She has the chops. But you'll know her from her first book, A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet,
Oh yeah.
and then A Closed and Common Orbit. Both of these were nominated for pretty much every sci-fi award that exists in the universe, whether it's the Nebulas, the Hugos, Arthur C. Clarke. I'm covering my face, which might be good, but here we are. And so all these novels are very, I mean, they're very action-packed, but they're very character-driven. They're all like very warm, fully developed characters and their relationships within kind of this spacefaring society. And this one, I think, is extra cool because it's in each one you can dive in. They operate as standalones, but they're also in the same universe. No pun intended, but yeah, no, I don't know.
But,
My brain shut off for a tiny second,
It's
and I
okay.
didn't hear the joke.
Just laugh. You gave me a pity laugh, though. You gave me a pity laugh.
You caught me not listening actively. Not actively listening, but listening.
Say what I just said, but backwards.
Can't.
Reverse. Good.
Can't, won't, not happening.
But this novel is basically about this fleet that left Earth. Earth was dying, so the entire population left. And this fleet was flying through the Milky Way for like 200 years to survive. But they eventually reached their destination, and things are cool. Like, people are operating on different worlds. They're accepted into the intergalactic community of various aliens, and things are okay, but they still operate on their own. They're kind of just sitting out in space. The culture develops over, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, but people are leaving. I often think of it kind of like, with rural communities, how the younger generations leave, and then what do you do with these communities that have existed for so long and have their own cultures and their own ways of being. And so it follows this kind of cast of characters within the society and how they deal with this, this changing landscape and the changing futures. People leave to go planet side or go to different colonies, and how do you document everything that happened in these last 500 1,000 years. So it's a really cool look. It's still a very fast-paced, action-packed, but it's a really also just great, again, fleshed out characters, very contemplative about how do we pass along what we've been through as a culture, as a community. I absolutely love these books. Every single one of them, again, is cozy. You can read it in a park, in a plane,
I
and
will
you
say
don't
I was
have to
very
worry
excited
about
to
it.
talk about them.
Yeah, I
Which is not what I would
love
expect
these books.
About a book. I would not expect
Yeah.
that from a book about space
Yeah,
living.
because space wants to kill you. Space is the most
And I
harsh
don't-
place you can be in
I
the
don't
world,
think
but-
warm
in
and
the
fuzzy.
world.
I don't think Hugo when I think space.
Yeah, no, Hugo. But
Hugo.
Hitchhikers?
Hugo.
Huga. Huga. That's an interesting Huga in space.
Yeah. Right? Isn't that what we're talking about? Worms and fuzzies?
Warms and fuzzies, yeah, kind
That's
of.
Huga.
Yeah, but they're brilliant. And again, she's a star in the sci-fi community, so I could rattle on, but do check them out. This book, these are on sale now. You can get either one. This one is coming July 24th. So,
We have a time for a caller?
oh, we do.
I love that we're doing this.
She doesn't know. Just kidding. She does.
I hope she knows.
Surprise!
Hopefully, is it max volume?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
I have to turn the sound down.
Who are we speaking with?
This is a voice.
Is this the president of the Cher fan club?
Hello, everyone. Do I need to? I think I need to turn the sound down.
Well,
Hold on.
you shout towards us.
Folks who are watching, just let us know if you're
Yes,
having
it
any
is.
issue hearing.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Good.
She's doing a really, really good Cher impression
So-
in case you can't hear it.
We have Virginia Stanley on the line,
The
Director of Library
Virginia
Marketing, the Virginia Stanley.
The V.
VV indeed. Sorry, are you still with us, V?
Yes, I am.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Listeners at home, viewers at home, listeners at home, can you hear Virginia Stanley? Is this coming through okay? It is? Great. All right. V,
Yes, I am.
what do you want to talk about today?
Body and soul. Hold on. I gotta turn the sound down. Okay. How's that? Can you hear me?
We can
Everyone
hear you.
says they
Clear.
can hear perfectly.
Beautiful.
What do you have to say?
I have to say, Percocet is a beautiful thing.
Oh no. We're super ready to hang up just in case.
Yes. Be ready.
In case you go off the rails.
Oh man, no, I miss you guys. But you guys are. I'm laughing here watching you guys while I sit here with my hand in a cast. But yes, it's very exciting about the Michelle McNamara book, and that's a I agree with all of you. That is one hell of a read and quite frightening. And if this is the guy, hats off to Michelle McNamara in the heavens and to her editor Jennifer Barth, who really did an amazing job pulling it together. There's also Patton Oswalt on Instagram. When he finds out, you should check that out. It's very sweet. He just finds out and makes a quick video on Instagram and gives a shout out to his wife, his dearly departed wife. So very cool. Fingers crossed. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
We can totes still hear you.
And Julie's sending her get well wishes, Virginia.
So, hello. I'm going to take 2 minutes of your time and hang up and then continue to watch the frivolity from my bed. But I wanted to talk quickly about Karen Slaughter's forthcoming book. It's coming out in August and it's called Pieces of Her. This is a really great read. Not that all of her books aren't great read, but I would say it's a bit of a departure in that anyone who might not be a fan of the more sort of graphic, what Karen is very adept at, these graphic scenes, along with a very strong story. This is less of that. It's more emotional terror, than physical. And it's also, this story goes back and forth. At the core of this thing is a story about a mother and a daughter, and the daughter's 31 years old, and she's sort of this, she's kind of a little bit lost. She's lived in New York, and she comes back to Atlanta to care for her mother, who is not in the best health, and they are having this afternoon at the mall where the daughter is a security guard, and there's an act of violence that sets off the entire story and sets off in motion this slow discovery that the daughter does not know the mother as she thought she did. And how well do you know the people in your lives? But specifically, the core of this is this mother-daughter relationship. And it's sort of cat and mouse, but it's really more about the daughter trying to trace the true life, the life before the mother that she knew. She had a life before that, and because of this act of violence that sets off this book and the whole action and the storyline, she slowly comes to realize that her mother had a whole life before she came into the picture, or somewhat after she came into the picture. So that's all I can say about it without giving too much away. I think it's hard to talk about mysteries or these kinds of books without going on too long, because you can ruin it, and I don't want to. But I do want to say that Booklist, Rebecca Vinook from Booklist, who's also now the new executive director of Library Reads, gave it a starred review, and with my left hand on my laptop, which is curious because I'm right-handed, so it's not working so well. Let me find it.
Is this the
Well,
Percocet
it's starting-
talking now?
You guys have it there, baby?
I do have it. Do you want me to read it?
Yes, please.
All right, here we go. Slaughter's talent for writing convincingly flawed yet sympathetic characters is in high relief here as she juggles the mystery of Laura, past and present. Readers will find themselves totally immersed in the suspenseful, alternating storylines and won't want either of them to end. This departure from Slaughter's more gruesome standalone thrillers and popular series mysteries will more than satisfy her many fans. It's a big old star from Booklist and Rebecca Vinay.
Nice.
And speaking of cat and mouse,
Oh,
Now, we're not going to go there.
No?
We're just going to leave it as it is.
well,
all right.
you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
So, Pieces of Her is out in August.
Yep.
okay.
And it's great. So if you've been afraid in the past to dive in, don't be. If you want to treat yourself to a real, not only a page turner, but a head scratcher where you're flipping back and forth to figure out what's going on, this is the book for you. So
That's a good way to
is
put
my-
that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And so, yes, and what Chris is referring to is that we did a quick video at the Cat Cafe. Karen kept calling the book Pieces of Fur instead of Her. This is very funny.
Well, no, I'm
All
going
right,
to do
I'm
that.
signing off. Continue on, kids. See you soon.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks, Virginia.
Catch you later. Feel better.
Yeah, you can watch the cat video on Karen's Facebook page, Karen Slaughter, author. It's hilarious. And Karen also, I know we have librarians, non-librarians watching, but we're the library people, so I'm going to,
You can cater
prattle
to
on
that.
about
We
that.
all at least use libraries.
God, that's true.
Well, we do. No, I know that we do.
We do.
I don't hope I know.
Whether directly or indirectly, they affect our lives for the positive. And Karen is like #1 library advocate. She's awesome. For libraries directly, she's worked with us extensively as well. But she puts on this really she delivers this really eloquent kind of speech on libraries at the Cat Cafe while Virginia's sitting there terrified because Virginia's
Cats.
not a cat person and they're lingering above her head at this cat cafe. But it's a great video, worth watching. Go to Karen's
She
page.
just did a big fundraiser for her local library on Facebook, so she loves libraries.
She's also one of the most funny people in the world. Honest to God, she cracks me up like no other. She's
totally
so
right.
like
funny.
straight faced and can just deliver anything, and it will kill you in the best way.
We
It
have a
will
lot
slaughter
of
you.
love for Karen coming in from viewers right now too. Could we hold up the cover one more time?
Yeah.
Did
So-
everyone get my pun there? Because it's
What'd
really
you say?
good.
One more time,
like,
Chris.
Can we like rewind?
What did you say?
Said her humor will kill you. It will slaughter you.
Okay, next book.
I'll
That's
leave
great.
now.
Courtney just said, "What did I miss?" Courtney, you'd missed that pun. I'm so glad you got it the second
See,
time.
that
I
one,
wish I
that
could
one
say
I heard
it.
because I was listening actively.
That was
not.
great.
I gave you the response that you needed.
Plus, next buzz, we should just do it all in reverse speak.
All puns.
All puns.
All puns. Okay.
Chris, we should chat about that later.
Yeah, okay. I guess I have to pass that through.
A lot of folks tuning in saying hi. We have friends from Romania, a lot of psychological thriller fans, many of whom are saying August is too long to wait for Pieces of Fur.
We agree.
Unfortunately. We have so many great comments, but Vesna is saying that it's a rainy day and she's loving the recommendations, wishes she was swimming in the book pile with all the fun stuff and great escapes.
Vesna can participate in our pun-filled Facebook Live that we do someday.
Absolutely. And I mean, also, if you have any great book puns, please feel free to comment with them. Let us know where you're watching from, what kind of books you're most excited about reading, what
We're
you
all
want to hear
very
about.
punny.
Yeah.
And we're
Hit us
live
with them.
from
We're an
HarperCollins
open
in New
book.
York with the library marketing team, plus a very special guest.
This is our special guest.
Me. That's it.
Okay.
What's happening now?
Should we talk about more books?
Yeah. Does anybody have one? They just really gotta go. Gotta
Yep.
go now.
Yep, I do.
Oh,
Throwing books.
I started reading this one, which I need in front of me because do you have it? You have it, right? No. Is it just me?
No,
stole it
it's
from
over
me.
here
Oh,
somewhere.
well, it's Scarface.
Wait, which one?
No, I brought my own. Scarface
Oh,
and the
okay.
I think it's
Untouchable.
right there.
somewhere.
Okay. Listen, I am the
Listening.
audience for this book because I love reading about gangsters and I love Prohibition and I
both
love things about Al Capone and this, like I love it all. And I just got done reading David Grann's Killers of the Flower Moon, which is about that case in Oklahoma, but it's also about kind of the rise of the modern FBI. So I'm obsessed with that right now. And this book is scratching the itch perfectly. So Max Allan Collins wrote Road to Perdition, which is, again, turned into a movie, which, again, I've only seen the movie, have never read the book. Mm-hmm. But now I want to read the book. And the co-author is Brad Schwartz, who I wasn't familiar with, but oh my gosh, the two of these guys write a damn book. And there's so many things that I have been wanting to highlight, but I'm reading it on my iPad. But they just have a way of writing, and like when they talk about a guy falling dead, he doesn't fall to the floor dead, he falls to the floor a corpse. And I was like, that is the greatest way to put that. How come nobody's ever done that before?
Falling to the floor as a corpse.
Yeah, he fell to the floor a corpse. And I was like, oh, chills. But anyway, so this is a really great book. Also, Elliot Ness is hella Norwegian, and so am I, so I kind of love it for that. Mm-hmm. But I can't, this book, it doesn't even come out until when? August. Sorry. But it's so meaty. It's like 700-page book. You are going to be reading this forever, but you are not going to want to leave. Oh, did I even talk about what it's about? It's about Al Capone and Elliot Ness trying to catch Al Capone. And again, cat and mouse. Holy cow. Oh, that was a really good segue that we did from the pieces of her to this. So anyway, so I'm loving this. It's great for people who love the David Grann book. It's also great for people who maybe read Dennis Lehane. He did that remember that historical trilogy he did? It was A Given Day, Live by Night, and then World Gone By was the third one. And this one just got turned into the movie by Ben Affleck, which I'm also obsessed with right now. And it's set in the same time period. It's all about the gangsters. Sorry, I've got such a cold. But it's perfect. So that's a good tie-in. It also reminded me a lot of David Mamet's new fiction, Chicago. There's the tie-in right there. Capone does kind of come into this one a little bit, but it's perfect for people that, like, there's your nonfiction fiction.
Your gangster reading is filled for, like, the next...
You're the OG gangster reader.
I just love reading books about Chicago and all the crime that happened there in the 20s and 30s.
I was going to say, how can you have one named Chicago and then that time period and not talk about Al Capone?
Yeah. Anyway, so I think that's all I have to say about it.
That's all?
But
that was great. That was all to say about it.
I think that's great. And again,
Actually,
if you have any Chicago puns,
let us know.
Chicago puns.
We need Chicago puns?
I
don't have any. It blew me away!
There you go.
Oh!
She delivers.
Also, I'd really like this Facebook Live to be over so I can go back and keep reading it.
We only have 50 more books to talk about, and then you'll be free to go.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, I'm going to go.
Chris, we have a kindred spirit. She's tuning in from New Zealand and says she's a punny person, loves puns, and we have a lot of support for your endeavors. So I want to know you're appreciated by all the viewers.
We love puns, and we love that you love puns.
Don't encourage me.
Okay, I'm going to go.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
All
right, so I want to talk about The Daisy Children by Sophia Grant. Is it going to stand? Probably not.
Oh, I guess I could help here.
But her other book, The Dress in the Window, if you're a fan, that's also on sale now. But The Daisy Children, sorry, it's an August one too. But
we keep teasing people with these August books. At least we're giving them something to like hold you over until then.
You can get this one right now. So, Sophia Grant wrote this historical fiction, and it's based on a true event. The event in the book, in Texas in 1937, a school exploded by, I guess, like a gas line, and I don't know all the technical things that happened underneath the school. But so it blew up, and 300 children died. It was tragic, and so while these parents are going through all of this, and they're trying to kind of grieve these children that they've lost, there was a group of people who all had children like 9 months right after it happened, and they have named them the Daisy Children. So,
which is an actual real thing in history.
So that's what it's based on, that event, but this is a fictionalized story about a woman named Katie Garrett, and she lives in Boston, and she's living her life, and she gets this phone call that her grandmother, who she is never met, her mom is estranged from her grandmother, has died, and she left her an inheritance. So she goes to Texas, doesn't know the story at all, and learns about the Daisy Children, and it turns out her grandmother was one. So it goes in between the grandmother's story and the granddaughter's story, and it just has several generations. It's got a little bit of a love story in it, if you're a fan of that. And she meets a long-lost cousin who has had a totally different life than her and knew the grandmother. So really she's piecing all of this together and learning more about this awful event that happened. It's going to have a reading group guide at the back, so it's great for book clubs and patrons who like historical fiction, uncovering the past, long-lost family members, and it's actually okay for a really advanced YA reader. So it's got good crossover. The author went to Texas and researched this extensively. It's good.
And this has been added to a bunch of TBRs
Good.
as we speak.
Doing it, lady.
And Paige just let us know that August is going to be a great month.
You're
It's
right.
actually going to be a really good. Yeah.
It is.
Everybody should just save their money over the summer so that you can get all of the August books that we're talking about. Oops, JK, you're going to go to your library. Actually, you should donate to your library so that they can have.
You should do
these.
all of those things. Buy the book, go to your library, donate to your library, all of the
All the
above.
things.
Could we chat about a couple books that could be purchased right now?
Yeah, I have one. We have our friend Shelley Shepard Gray. She's always been super supportive. She came to one of our conferences, so I had the pleasure of meeting her. She writes really great romantic suspense, but like Amish romantic suspense. And I was thinking about her because one of my favorite films of all time is Witness with Harrison Ford. If any of you have seen that, I think it was early '90s. Harrison Ford's like, I think he's like an FBI agent, and this young Amish kid.
Tie-in.
We were actually in Philadelphia, and a big chunk of it takes place in Philly. And outside of Philadelphia, where this young man witnesses this horrible crime involving the mafia, and Harrison Ford is basically in charge of protecting this young child who was this witness, and he becomes very involved with the Amish community. And it's a really cool inside look at the Amish community. You know, sometimes it's easy to make them an other, and they're just like this outside community you don't know much about. It's a brilliant film. Peter Ware's one of my favorite directors, and Shelley Shepard Gray does that as well. The Amish of Hart County series, which are coming out, we have a bunch, so I'm going to talk a little bit about them. First, we have His Risk. Can you all help me out? Because I did blow-ups for these. This went on sale March 6th, and it involves actually an English DEA agent and interacting with an Amish community. What else do we have? Her Fear, which is coming in July. Bethany, thank you. Which involves actually an EMT worker falling for a woman with ties to an Amish community. And then, in time for Christmas, is it weird to think about Christmas and snow right now? There was a moment the other day where I was looking at like Christmas photos and like snow. I was a little nostalgic, frankly, which is completely twisted.
haven't
I'm
even
going to
hate
need
summer
summer
yet.
first, and then I'll be excited.
That will come. The hate will come for summer. And His Promise, which is also part of the Amish of Hart County series. So really cool, again, romantic suspense, Amish romantic suspense. We love Shelley. This one will be coming in October, so you're going to get your fill from basically between March and October. We have 3 books coming out. They're all trade paperback, but we do library hardcover because she does really well there.
The PS section.
I was
With
just going to
PS
say.
section,
Yeah,
yep.
great for book clubs again.
There we
We
are.
do love our book
We love
clubs.
book clubs, library book clubs. Book club
I'm in
libraries.
3.
What?
3 different book clubs.
Nice. Speaking
do
of
it?
the Amish community,
Barely.
we have a book coming out. Okay, June. We're good. Not August. You're not going to be mad at me.
And it's
So-
probably early June, maybe, right? I'll look.
So, Susan Wiggs, we all love her. Every library has a really big heart for Susan Wiggs. Her new book, Between You and Me, does focus half on this Amish community as well. It's contemporary romance. So, essentially the story, a man who wanted to get away from the Amish community. He grew up Amish, but he didn't want to be it anymore. His brother passes away and leaves his niece and nephew in his care. So, dying wish, wants to be raised in this Amish community, so he goes and fulfills that wish. So he's living in a place he really doesn't want to be, but it's his heritage. And then when his nephew gets in a really bad accident, he has to take him into the city to a hospital where he meets a doctor. Her name is Reese, and she really kind of takes them in and shows them about the community. But what's really cool about this book is both main characters really have this background where their parents have really shaped everything that they've done. And maybe it's not in this Amish community like Reese, but he is learning, his name is Caleb, all of these all of these things kind of translate into both communities, and so it's really about finding yourself and being who you want to be, but it's really sweet.
I like her a lot. And I have to say, I love this
She's
cover.
very sweet. She loves libraries too.
I love this cover so much.
And we have a lot of love for Susan Wiggs, less so for talking about Christmas, unfortunately.
What?
There's a lot of feelings of too soon. And
Too soon.
no. So we might have skipped that one. Betty's very eager to read this title. And we also have a question coming in.
We do? Is it like really good one? Is it a
calls and
personal
questions?
one?
You know, it's
Is
a
it a
tough
book
one,
related one?
Puffy.
but someone who's asking which building has the most stories.
Which what?
Building.
Which building?
Green
The
building.
library. Thank you, Laura, from New
Oh, a
Zealand.
joke! Oh. Not a joke. It's a quiz.
I did not pick up on that at
I
all.
thought you meant
that-
which book
my mind
has
went
a good
everywhere.
story about a building.
I thought you meant like in New York, like which one has the most
Yeah.
Good one.
Well, then I thought,
storied past, which is still the library, but
Storied.
oh,
Past.
wow.
Oh.
Oh.
We're on it today.
we
And
are.
if you're just tuning in,
we just
we
believe
have
we are, either way.
the punniest employees at HarperCollins sitting before you, the HarperCollins library marketing team with
Wow.
special guest, me, Bethany.
It me herself.
They're giving amazing book recommendations, many of which are summer reads, some of which are currently out. So let us know where you're watching from and what you're most excited to read.
Or what you're currently reading. 'Cause
Or
I
what you're
need some
currently reading,
recommendations.
or the best pun about books that you have.
Puns in general.
What? Puns in general?
Didn't we? Shoot, we have a pun book.
Next
Away
time
with-
we need to bring the fun book.
It's a way with words.
Away with words. Yes.
The competitive punning.
Yes. Go check that out. It's out now. I'm almost certain.
It's out now, and if you're interested, it goes deep into the world of competitive punning.
Punderdome, right?
People, yeah, they have champions.
Punderdome.
I watched a video of the champion one year. She was great.
Yeah, they tear it down.
They tear it down.
They're
And
much more
build it back
qualified
up.
than us.
I just learned a brand new way to phrase something. Thank you.
Tear it down.
Tear it down.
In a good way.
We have another summer book that is not August, it's July, but The Summer Wives.
Ooh, I'm gonna hold up the. Yeah.
And here's Backlist, Cocoa Beach by Beatrice Williams. Beatrice is lovely.
And she's got so many books for you to read. Oh my gosh.
It's a hashtag Beatrice Binge is her.
oh yeah.
It's a real
There is a
thing.
hashtag.
It's a thing.
I
And
had
so-
one at my desk, but she has like 5 or 6, and they're all amazing, and they're all so much fun. And you just rip through them. And again, if you love to read things that take place in the 20s or 30s, a lot of her stuff does. And if it doesn't, it's at least like a dual narrative. So part of it takes place back there. I
Yeah.
just super love reading
She also
about
has
that
a
chunk of history.
book coming out later in the year with somebody, I can't think of the name of the but it's called Glass
Three
Ocean.
authors, yeah,
Three
the
authors,
Glass
yeah.
Karen White and Lauren Willig.
Yes.
All 3 of them are coming together to write
Yes.
one book, and it's not a collection of 3 different novellas put together. They're writing one narrative together, and I'm so excited to read it.
I want to see them all together because Beatrice was saying together. I mean, individually they're forces to be reckoned with, but then they apparently just flow, and they're
Yeah.
A
So
lot.
I can't even imagine with that writing process. They're probably having so much fun.
yeah.
So that's 2 books by her coming out really soon. Summer Wives takes place on a fictional island, although some people said you can kind of guess what the island really is.
Listen, I know exactly which island it is.
And so this young girl goes to the island. Her mom just got remarried, and a lot of these characters come up throughout her novels, so you'll recognize them.
That's what's so
But-
fun about them.
yeah.
They're not like, you're not reading a series, but every now and then you'll be like, wait a minute, I know you.
So she goes to live on this island with her mom and her new husband, and she gets a new stepsister, so that dynamic is really fun. And really the island is separated into, there's the working class that's there all year round, and then the richer citizens that come in just for the summer, and so there's a really big divide, but she really, even though she kind of falls within this richer class that only is there for summers, she really understands and connects more with this guy whose family owns the lighthouse, and so in the working class.
Image of him I have in my head. He's a hottie. He's a hottie.
Do you have an actor in mind? Do you have a face?
No.
We'll come back to that one.
We'll go back. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We do have a request from Melissa for recommendations for beach reads or humorous books for book clubs.
Beach read.
That's the
Beach
perfect
read.
beach read.
Cocoa Beach,
can
which is
see
a
the
backlist,
beach.
which is available now. Beach read.
Beach read.
I'll Be Gone in the Dark. Not a beach.
Not a beach.
I was like,
it
no,
depends
not
what-
a beach read.
Park
Depends on what
read.
you're
I saw someone
into.
reading in the
Could
park.
be.
Yeah,
We
depends what
also
kind of person you
posted
are.
the SoundCloud link to the podcast
Nice.
in the comments here. And we have a question if someone could talk about the secret of the Irish castle.
Oh, I'm glad you asked. Let me get my life together a
Here.
little bit. Okay, this is the new one, Secret of the Irish Castle. But it's the third in a trilogy of...
I have two hands.
I'm looking
Okay.
for beach reads and
This
funny
one can
reads for
stand by
book clubs, so I can't do anything right now.
It's a part of the Devril's Chronicles trilogy. I thought it was going to stand. I'm sorry. But those are the other ones. And I think I have a quote. Let me see. So this is a quote from Jojo Moyes, who wrote Me Before You. Nobody does epic romance like Santa Montefiore. Everything she writes from the heart. And it's going to be a library hardcover as well. So it's really complex, reoccurring characters. They're in all of them. They're in the new one. There's a chart with all of the family members, so you can kind of figure all of that out too. It's been described as like reading a piece of masterpiece theater. It's very in depth, and these characters are really complex, and it's really interesting. This story mainly it has all the characters, but this one focuses on Martha Wallace and J.P. Deverell. So they're part of the Deverell family, which, as you can see, they're the trilogy. And it's kind of a love story, but Martha's coming from America. She was adopted from Ireland, also all historical 20th century Ireland, should mention that. And so she comes to find out her real family is from, and she finds JP, but then kind of finds out that maybe she might be part of this family too. We don't know. So it's really great, and yeah, I hope I answered all your questions.
And these
We're
books
excited
are
about it.
so great. They're like vacation books because they're so long, which is a really good thing in this instance. Because she drops you in this time and place that you are not in, but it just feels very fresh and like fresh meaning like it's a brand new place, and it's like you're on vacation, but you're on vacation for like 400 pages, and it's wonderful, and you just get to live in the book.
And I first started at HarperCollins right when I believe the first one came out, and I see the reviews on the back, and that's kind of what struck me initially. For like, summer reads, the reviews are crazy. There's a starred book list review, a starred library journal review. I'm going to read it from here because my eyesight's stellar. This is from Library Journal.
Bragging.
Montefiore's compelling family saga is highly recommended, particularly for lovers of Irish fiction and or stories of World War I and the 1920s, as well as those who enjoy novels about the enduring power of women's friendships.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I
This
am a
one's
core reader.
1939, I think is when it starts, so it's right after the war. So you kind of get a saga.
Yeah.
And because somebody was asking for a recommendation for a funny book for a book club to read, I've got one, and my screen is really icky, and there's a crack down the middle of it, but there's This Could Hurt by Gillian Medoff. This one's a lot of fun. It's funny and heartbreaking at the same time, but the character, you get to know this, you get to know characters that are all working in an HR department, which I never thought would be interesting. I'm sorry to all the HR people out there, but this book is so much fun. And a lot of the story happens with the organizational chart, which is bananas. That's such a good way to tell a story, I think.
Through the organization. Yeah.
So through the org chart.
The
So
org chart, indeed.
that's what I've got.
Funny. What else?
Oh, and we do actually have another question.
Yeah.
We have a lot of love for light reading. Noreen's saying that light reading is a necessity. Must have balance in all things.
True.
There's a lot of interest there. Betty's asking, when a book format's listed as library binding, what does that mean?
Same as library hardcover edition. So we have a program here at HarperCollins for certain trade paperback books or mass market books, so some romance, some thrillers that we publish. It just depends on the book. We'll publish them in library hardcover edition so that libraries can add them to their collections because
They're more durable.
they're more durable. They can withstand all the reads that they inevitably will.
And all of the backpacks they fall out of, and all the airplanes they're on, and all of the beaches we take them to.
I kind of have a lightish read that's going to be in library hardcover. It's part of a series as well. Oh, and I don't have it. These are, so it's the 9th in the series. It's called Second Time Sweeter. These are the other parts of the series. They're the first book, and then the last two. I grabbed those so you could see. So Beverly Jenkins, who is insane romance writer. Listen to some of the things she is. One, she's a recipient of the 2017 Romance Writers of America Nora Roberts Lifetime Achievement Award. She won the 2016 Romantic Times Reviewer's Choice Award for Historical Romance. She's been nominated for an NAACP Image Award for Literature.
So good.
She has a crazy website too that's so fun. She has videos. She loves her fans. They went on a trip together, which was so fun. I loved it. They went to South Carolina and saw history. She writes a lot of historical romance too, and she's really passionate about that. And so she's so fun anyway. But this is the 9th in the Blessings books, and it's the same thing. A lot of characters, and they all come and return, and you get to know someone. But in this, it's like, I thought I put it up, but this is not the new one. These are already done. Second Time Sweeter is the new one, the 9th. It's going to be library hardcover edition. And so,
of course, it's out in August.
Yeah.
But it'll be a great month, everyone. It'll be a really, really
great month. So this book in particular revolves around Bernadine, who was all through a film. She comes in, she's like a established woman who has a lot of money. She comes in this town, and she really puts a lot of money into the town to make it kind of get out of what it was. It was not going so well. So she comes in, revives this town. She gets into a relationship with a man named Mal. But then in the book previous to this one, he steals some money to kind of invest it because he has a lot of pride that she can pay for more things than he can. So this novel is coming in right when everything has hit the fan. His family is mad at him. He's trying to kind of come back into the public eye and be really known for the good person that he is. I did have a quote. I don't know where it went. Oh, here it is. So this is not for this novel, it's just in general, but every visit to Henry Adams, Kansas is like a warm hug. All is not perfect because humans make mistakes, but the knowledge that the people of this town will rise to the challenge together is a blessing. I thought that was a sweet quote from the book review. So, yeah. This is library hardcover, kind of a lighter read.
It's also available in ebook.
And these are available, so.
So it's not out in August. And I'm a stan.
No.
What?
The next
Second
one
Time
is-
Sweeter,
yeah.
the next one
I'm
is-
always a stan for Jill Shalvis, and I didn't bring any of her stuff with me, but she's got oodles of really good books to read. A new one comes out in June, but she's got a whole long backlist. The books that her romance series that all takes place in San Francisco, I love reading those so much.
They usually involve cute dogs too, right? There's
Yeah,
always
because
great
one of the
dogs.
characters owns a pet store or like
Yeah.
a pet shop where you can get stuff for your pets, but she also houses them, and so one of the stories centers around her.
So many
It's
good
so
dogs.
cute.
For another light read, you wouldn't think so. A novel that's set in Russia.
I was not expecting it to be that. I was gonna
No.
make a joke. Oh, it can't be this one.
It is.
It is
Open
this
mic
one.
night in Moscow. So this is Audrey Marie. She's a comedian. So first,
Oh, there you go.
know it's kind of come through the lens of someone who can make you laugh by default. She originally traveled to China and became a stand-up comedian there. And was named one of the funniest people in Shanghai by City Weekend magazine. So she has comedy chops, and this traces her. I'm just going to read the subtitle here. Open Mic Night in Moscow and other stories from my search for black markets, Soviet architecture, and emotionally unavailable Russian men. So, which I love.
That one gets funnier the longer it sits.
Let it gestate there for a second. And this is, I think, like a travel novel set in Russia for fans of like Eat, Pray, Love. So definitely like a beach novel for sure. And she was this young woman, kind of Russia obsessed. She's 28 years old, so while her peers are settling down, finalizing their professional careers, she hops on a one-way flight to Kazakhstan. And basically it's a 9-month solo voyage through Russia. She's checking out all the architecture, the culture, and kind of, it's a lonely experience, and she feels kind of dealing with patriotism and again, loneliness and love and searching for emotionally available Russian men. But she's hilarious at the same time. And again, it's such an interesting culture to see from the ground level, from an outsider's perspective who's really trying to give it its due. And I'm fascinated by Russian architecture, all the brutalist architecture, the Russian opulence from the height of the powers. And it's just a great read. And so anyone who likes like travelogues, things like that, but with a very comedic bent, this is great. Curl up on the beach, give it a shot. This is coming in July, actually, not August.
But is it end of July?
It's the end of July. It's July 24th. So you have a week to read it before you start your August reads.
Sure.
And the response to this one was instantaneous.
Really?
Yeah. Everyone loves a subtitle. Would you read it just one more time?
Yeah, I'd
just
love
for-
to. Nothing
just
would
for
make me
everyone.
happier. So again, title, Open Mic Night in Moscow and Other Stories from My Search for Black Markets, Soviet Architecture, and Emotionally Unavailable Russian Men. Last one couldn't have been too hard. We'll see.
Just gives every time.
Outstanding. And someone's asking for a list. We will be posting purchase links below the live stream right after it wraps up, so stay
And
tuned for that.
Available on our blog later today.
And remind us, if someone just tuned in, what's the name of the blog? How do they get there?
LibraryLoveFest.com.
Mm-hmm. And the replay will be on there as well. We archive all of this stuff, so there's a Facebook Live archive for all our hijinks, and sometimes there's drinks involved. We kept it straight today, but we always have a good time. So check out
I
our
took a
backlog.
Benadryl right before I came, so
Benny? You took a
Yikes.
Benny? Wow.
listen, season change has hit us. My essential
that.
oils aren't cutting it anymore.
What are we going?
And Joanne's saying that you guys have the best jobs.
We really do.
Helen doesn't know what to read first. Luckily, Helen, many of these are not out till August, but we will be posting a lot of great books that are available right now, so you can get excited for the August releases.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, we're actually gonna give away some galleys of the Moscow and the pieces of her. So let us know. You can email us, and we'd love to hear.
We should really do a thing with this where we read it out loud and drink Moscow mules.
That's what we should do.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm-
be,
while I'm
we're
Russian.
gonna actually just
I'm
we're
not
gonna
going
if
to
you
Moscow.
comment, we're giving away galleys. So we're gonna pick some winners.
We are?
Yeah,
Do I get to pick the galleys that we give them?
sure.
Should it be based on best pun?
Yes.
Best-
I have been
I
doing a
like
terrible
that.
job of it. Can I talk
it's-
about Questlove?
Yeah.
You can, but after that, we have a lot of feelings about thrillers, namely that people want more of them.
More thrillers.
Well, okay. Yeah, I'm going to do Questlove. You two come up with thrillers.
Whistle
Whistle? Oh.
Oh yeah, well, I can talk about that. That's
and noises over there too.
So this book just came out. It is called Creative Quest. It is by the Questlove. She's on the Tonight Show. I almost said the Today Show. That's super not right. This is a book about enhancing your creativity, harnessing it. And while the print edition is great, it's very interactive. There's a thing to do at the beginning of every chapter, and then at the end of every chapter, he kind of sums up everything that he's talked about in that chapter. With a little like micro meditation, and then there's this graph paper page next to it where you can jot down notes, you can doodle, you can write music, you can do whatever is coming to your brain as you are reading that chapter. And this is just a really fantastic book. It's got kind of this large trim, so it's good gifty kind of thing. But I want to talk about the audiobook, because the audiobook is extra special, and also I sell audiobooks. But he read the audiobook. It's got some of his very special friends on it. And he, has like sometimes audiobook narration, it's just kind of, it's just like they just kind of read the book. This, he sort of talks the book to you. It's almost like he's dictating it to you, which is really kind of fun.
I'll take that.
And
I
then
love him.
there is original music in it.
The Roots.
Yes. And so I highly recommend you grab the audiobook. It's available through your library and anywhere that you get your audiobook. So take a listen. Have a listen.
I love the cover,
Mm-hmm.
like a Rube Goldberg machine.
Yeah, isn't that kind of neat?
I love this.
And there's
Love-
great quotes on the back. Donald Glover, Lena Waithe, Issa Rae, all the good people. So,
So many good people.
And Jimmy Fallon, of course.
well, of course, Jimmy Fallon. That's a given.
Um,
That's it. Okay. Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Good thriller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good thriller.
Should we not tell anyone about it? Should we just tease it and make everyone try
Oh
to
god,
guess
this
what it
thriller
is?
you can't see so
Wouldn't that
good.
be the
All right,
meanest
well,
thing ever?
That's it for us today. No,
Bye.
Linwood Barclay, A Noise Downstairs. So he's a New York Times bestselling author of No Time for Goodbye. Just give you a quick overview of the story. This man is traveling home one night and sees this guy. He inadvertently crosses paths with this serial killer dumping a body. He's attacked. He barely survives. The killer is arrested. And this man goes on to live just traumatized, PTSD.
But all of that
just-
happens in the first
Yeah.
page. That's the first page she just
Jump
talked
in.
about.
And then,
Oh, and then.
And
oh
then-
wait, are we to the?
yeah, we're passing back and forth. Yeah, okay, so he's traumatized. And so his wife buys him a typewriter
Because he loves typewriters. He's a writer. He loves
Yeah.
typewriters. Yeah, and so then they go to bed one night, and he wakes up in the middle of the night, and what does he hear? But
No.
that's my typewriter noise. Was it good? And so ding, and so he's like, what is happening? So he gets up and he goes down. There's nobody around. His wife is next to him in bed. Nobody around. I think his son is not there that night. But is this the and then that happens, and then it happens again, and then there's a piece of paper in the typewriter, and there's a message on the piece of paper. This book is so terrifying.
And what's extra twisted? I don't know if I can tell. The serial killer made his victims type out
Yeah.
letters
Oh, I forgot about
before
that.
he killed them.
God,
Dun,
that's
dun, dun. Are you thrilled yet?
It's all up on the TBRs
Yeah.
right now,
And
but
guess
it's one
what?
that needs to be read with the lights on.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. You
Elizabeth's saying that she loves this book because she loves typewriters. Your opinion might change.
You might hate. Yeah,
I'm not gonna love typewriters after this. 2 books have scared the pants off of me in ways that I can never describe. One is Shutter Island by Dennis Lehane, and the other is this one. And then you think, and again with Dennis Lehane, you get through it and you're like, I know what the ending's gonna be, and then you're like, you get the ending you think it's gonna be, and then you still have 150 pages, and you're like, wait, but what? The book is done. And the book is not done. And it takes you on this twist, and it takes you on this journey. And you're going to need to hold somebody's hand. And you're going to want to scrub your eyeballs afterward. No, 3 books. Sarah Pinborough was the other one. And we have her book coming
right.
out called Cross Her Heart. Cross Her Heart.
Don't
Which-
have
when
it
does
up
that
here,
come out?
but
Yeah, we didn't bring the galley with us. It's a fall book. Early fall? August?
It might
Again,
be in-
August.
Might be sitting in one of our
Oh, is it
tiki
that one?
stacks.
Top? Second from the top? Anyway,
Viewers at home,
deliver.
what is this book?
Cross Her Heart. Sarah Pinborough is she's going to be a very big deal. She's to me already a big deal. She's going to be the author that you all need to read. She has 2 books out there right now that we did not publish, but I highly recommend them. And then Cross Her Heart, which comes out I think August, September, which
Yes.
I'm not even. It's wonderful, and it's a very warm thriller. This is a very cold thriller. This will make you feel chilly. This will make you want to hooga the hell out of your apartment or your home
Or
or
your
your
spaceship.
library or your spaceship. But Sarah Pinborough, Cross Her Heart is a lot warmer, and it's got a lot more feeling and a lot more heart to it. It's about a mother-daughter relationship, and then it's about the mother's best friend as well. And it's just a really beautiful book, but also a thriller. Anyway, but
Well,
Linda
for all the
Barkley
thriller fans out
is
there, we
amazing.
definitely have a lot of great books for you, and we have something just in from Joanne. Outside of a dog, a book is man's best friend.
Oh.
Inside of a dog, it's too dark to read.
Oh man, we're making friends on
No.
Facebook.
And from Laura, a book just fell on my head. I've only got my shelf to blame. Chris, you might want to try that one.
I'm in awe.
Yeah.
I'm in awe. Is there a fun to be taken?
We have
from that?
time. What's the time?
Yeah. How are we
Looking
doing?
like?
Should we do a lightning round?
Ooh.
Lightning round. Yes. you
Also,
ready?
reminding everybody that galleys are on Edelweiss as well,
Yeah.
so you can request them there if you want an e-galley. That's important to note.
Yes.
Not ready for lightning round.
And we'll be posting purchase links to all of the books that we're talking about today on the live stream after this. And you can go to librarylovefest.com to watch the video and check out all of their other videos and all of their recommendations for many books that will actually be out right now.
Okay,
Lightning.
I was gonna make a lightning noise, and I realized I don't think I can do that.
Do it. Anyways, I'll be the wait. Lightning was thunder sound, right? Lightning would
But-
thunder.
Lightning has like a crack noise to it, and thunder is a little more like.
Okay.
Oh no!
Lightning round.
That's it for us.
We got a random
We
in.
just went off the rails.
Yeah, so we have a new Jeffrey Ford coming out in August. Who would have thought? August 28th. This is Ahab's Return, The Last Voyage. So this is, you'll know Jeffrey Ford. He's a well reviewed, award-winning author. this is one of his books, A Shadow Year. He's been nominated for the Nebula Award for Best Novel for The Girl in the Glass. He's won an Edgar Award. He's a brilliant writer that he does kind of sci-fi, he does horror, he does kind of revisionist, speculative fiction, I guess you could call. Just crazy talented, and again, a star in the science fiction and fantasy community. And this is a take on Herman Melville's classic Moby Dick. In this case, Captain Ahab returns home, and he has some beef with his former shipmate Ishmael, who wrote Moby Dick in this case, because he claims that, obviously, that Captain Ahab perished.
Call me Ahab.
Call me Ahab. Well, Ahab is not happy because Ahab is alive, and he's trying to get to the bottom of why this story is circulating that claims that he's passed away. And this story will go in directions that you will never anticipate or expect, but the writing just pops from the page. He's just a brilliant author.
And you don't have to have read Moby Dick to understand what's happening in this book.
No, we've all
That
read
is
Moby Dick,
personal
of course,
experience.
right?
I am not.
No.
None of us have read it? Oh, well.
Yeah, but
I know about it,
I think I've read a chapter.
and I know Ishmael.
there we are. That's all you need. That's all you need.
It is an August one, though.
But yeah, Jeffrey has a very rich backlist, all of which are worth checking out. So yeah, that's my lightning round.
Exciting.
Mine is Sarah Wilson. First, We Make the Beast Beautiful. This is a great book about anxiety. It's Sarah's personal story, but she's also the founder of IQuitSugar.com, and she's a researcher. And so this is very science-based, and comes from her own personal experience. But the whole idea of it is, in order to conquer a beast, first you have to make the beast beautiful. And it's less about like conquering anxiety and more about kind of lessening it for yourself. But really, this is just a beautiful book, and there's a lot of the way that they design the book is really great. And then she's got all these little like cruel ironies kind of sprinkled throughout. So it's not one of those self-help books that puts you through a plan. It's one of those self-help books that's sort of like a friend is helping you through something difficult. But then I also want to talk about an original that she did. It is a cookbook called The Anti-Anxiety Diet. And this is a 2-week jumpstart plan for eliminating sugar from your diet, which is related to her website, IQuitSugar.com, because for her anxiety, and studies have been done about anxiety, about how sugar intake inflames your anxiety. What am I trying to say? It makes your anxiety a little bit worse. I'm not doing.
It's all about the microbiome.
Yeah,
kind of thing,
it is,
right?
which
Like,
I
it all
don't
taps into
understand,
that.
but I kind of understand.
I
can't
pretend I do.
say it
but-
to you. So anyway, so we've got this book, which is in ebook and print, and then the Anti-Anxiety Diet, which is only available in ebook, but it is at your libraries, and I know because I put it there myself. And she's going to be on the Today Show on May 10th, talking about this book, so I'm very excited for her. And look at the inside of it.
It's very nice.
It's beautiful.
Pops.
It pops.
Pops.
Okay, so
Quickly,
That's mine.
one more. We can do one more.
Uno.
So, My Girls by Todd Fisher. If, like most people, you're really shocked when Carrie Fisher passed away in 2016, and then a few days later, Debbie Reynolds, her mother, passed away too. This is Todd Fisher's story about both of them. So his mother was Debbie, and his sister was Carrie, and he's in the industry too, director, actor, but really he had to deal with 2 deaths all at once, and he was grieving, but he really wanted to make sure the legacy stayed. So this is just stories that he has. It's got 32 pages of never before seen photos. So it's gonna be really cool.
I really like the photo they put as the cover.
I know, he's
really
like
good
peeking
picture.
behind them. Yeah, I love their hats. But this is gonna be like the definitive story about Carrie and Debbie. So be sure to check that out. And it comes out in June.
But my book's already out.
I can't win them
All
all.
very exciting. And Julie said, "Hey, HarperCollins library marketing team. Hope I'm not being too forward with my introduction, but I love your preface."
I knew where that
love
was
it.
going the second you said forward, and I loved it.
Oh,
Oops, my lipstick is out.
is that it?
That's
we
all
have
we
to
got.
sign on. Oh, we have a big announcement.
We do.
We promised a big announcement. Bethany doesn't even know about
I
it.
don't even know
By
what this
God,
is.
we're gonna give you a big announcement.
Should we
Do
do
I get to
it?
guess?
Let's do it.
Okay. We have a podcast.
Woo!
harmonize.
It's
I can't do
so
that.
exciting.
How thrilling!
You know I love podcasts.
Do I get to be on it? Yeah, we became best
Oh,
friends
this
because
is-
of podcasts.
I have a problem. I love podcasts so much. We have the great Michelle McNamara one through Harper, but this is going to be the Library Love Fest podcast. And it's on SoundCloud, right? A little teaser is on there now. So go
Little
check it
morsel,
out.
a tasty little morsel for your ears.
It's coming.
And we'll post a link to that after as well,
Yes.
just so you can all get really excited about what's to come.
Yeah, so there'll
Bethany
be author
might be guest starring.
interviews and what? Oh, is it time to leave?
I don't know, Virginia's saying that you guys killed it.
We did. I feel like we crushed it.
We miss you, Virginia.
Yeah.
Crushed it.
Love. Yeah, I guess that's it. But yeah, do check out our blog, librarylovefest.com. Sign up for our newsletter because you'll be hearing more about our podcasts, our videos. There'll be author interviews. There'll be just replays of our book buzzes. So much book goodness in store for y'all. So visit us, check us out, follow us on all the medias that are social. And thanks for tuning in, y'all.
I have Pineapple Princess by Annette Funicello to play us out.
Princess, I love you, you're the sweetest girl I've seen. Someday we're gonna marry
And no Pineapple Queen.